Hey, what is going on, everybody out there? This is Jakejames Lugo, senior editor here at thecoalition.com, and welcome to a brand new episode of TK Spotlight, where I bring on phenomenal individuals from throughout the gaming industry and talk with them a little bit about their craft and the good that they've done for people through their work and their portfolio and their influence all over the place. So today, I got something a little bit different. Okay, I got an individual who's not only a cool dude, who's also a good friend of mine that we met at E3 one time, but he also does a lot of work with voice acting in a ton of different video games. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard him in a variety of different places. But he's also an actor. He's on film. He's on TV. He's in a couple movies here and there. But, ladies and gentlemen, here's Arif S. Kinchen, a good friend of mine. How's it going, my boy Arif? How you doing?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. I'm very thankful for the opportunity, and I'm watching stuff on the CW Seed.
Nice. There you go. Multitasking to the utmost.
Yes.
But we're going to talk a little bit about everything, okay? Because you've done a lot of work and stuff that I didn't even know about until I started researching. I was like, oh, snap. Arif was in that? That's pretty dope. But you've done a lot of video game voice acting work. You're appearing now, upcoming soon in 2018 in State of Decay 2, which is in post-production right now, or pre-production, I believe it is, which is pretty dope.
Yes.
And you've done a lot of other big video games, which we'll get into in just a bit. But tell me, I mean, how's so far, for 2017, how has gaming been for you so far?
Gaming has been amazing, and I think it'll be even better if somebody from Microsoft gives me an Xbox One X.
Yeah, me too. I need one. I need this in my life.
I know, right? But gaming, I think, is at an all-time high, man. I mean, we've actually got to 4K gaming on a console, so that's great. But in terms of work, it's been very good, man. There's a lot of projects that are in the pipeline, as well as a lot of stuff that I've auditioned for that I didn't get, or what I like to call, I may get the last-minute phone call. And what that means is, I have seriously been getting gigs as of late where it's like, hey, remember that thing from like 6 months ago? They want to see you today. They want to see you tomorrow. It's like, what?
That's pretty crazy.
It's buck wild because you totally forget about, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't remember auditioning for that. Is
that like a real common thing for a lot of bigger games, like big title games that get a lot of attention?
Well, it's not common, but it's common for me. a lot of my friends are like, I ask them about it sometimes, and these are my contemporaries, and they're doing what I would believe to be better than me in the industry, and they're like, oh no, I usually know within the first month if I got the role. I'm like, the first month, dude, you're living a dream.
That's a big difference. That's at least a good 4 or 5 month difference.
Yeah, it's almost like I think that people hire people and they're like, dang it, we should have just went with dude.
That'd be crazy.
We should have just went with dude. We tried to go with the bigger name, and look at us now.
Oh, man. I'm telling you, I want to know about a couple of those. I want to get into some of those. But let's run through a little bit of your backlog, your portfolio, your body of work that you've done. Yeah. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys listening to this now, you could go look up Arif on IMDb and see his large, that looks like a scroll. You just keep going on IMDb with all the stuff that he's done. But to stick to games for just a second for voice acting, okay, you're obviously, like I mentioned before, State of Decay 2, which is coming out in 2018. You were in all of the Saints Row games by my count, including Ages of Mayhem, Saints Row the Third, Saints Row 1, and Saints Row 2. You were in Grand Theft Auto 5. You contributed some voices there. Gears of War 4, Battlefield Hardline, MotorStorm Apocalypse, Dead Rising 3, Bioshock Infinite, Aliens Colonial Marines, Prototype, Spider-Man Webs of Shadows, which surprised me. The Sopranos, Road to Respect, that was another one that just came out of left field. Okay, Syndicate, and then this is the one that really kind of caught me off guard. Okay, American Idol, the game, which is like super random.
Oh, so, bro!
But you're like, you've done. And here's the thing, like, there's even more on there. Again, looking at your IMDb, there's a lot more games that you've been a part of that we just didn't mention now. But you've done a lot and stuff, and you're very diversified in the types of projects you get involved with. I mean, when you're looking for, obviously, the next game and the next project you want to contribute your voice to, do you actively look for specific criteria for the games you actually contribute your voice to?
It depends. Most likely, and more often than not, I'm just looking to get a gig and just be part of a project. I've entrusted SBV Talent, who's been my agent since I started touching a microphone, so like since 1996,
for a while,
to pick stuff that's good. There's only been like 1 or 2 times where I was like, nah, I'm kind of good on that. Like, I don't like genetic engineering, so there was some stuff for a company that does that, and I was like, I don't want to do that at all. Like, I totally walked away from it. But when it comes to gaming, I think it has to be something that's like ferociously demonic, and it has no positivity in it for me to say, no, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I'm good. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Has it ever really, besides that one time you mentioned, has it ever really gone to that point or not yet?
You know what? I've had like 2 games that are hit games. They're freaking amazing, graphically great games, but it was the character, and you know, because of my own beliefs, I'm like, nah, I can't really do that.
I can feel that.
It doesn't sit right with me. You know what I'm saying? So, but aside from that, most of the stuff is just like, oh, cool. This actually adds a great depth to what of my body of work can be, and it's like if I get the role, then I try to do the best that I can at it. And if I don't, I'm usually very happy because whoever they choose, I pray they make a choice based on talent and not just price or whatever else. So it's cool. So I haven't been able. I've only once or twice chosen. Like Agents of Mayhem was brought to me by Volition. Like they literally had a conversation with me about it.
Yeah.
And that was one of the most honorable, kind things that I've experienced in the industry. To be quite honest, they really wanted to see what's your take on the character. How do you feel about him? You've been playing him for so long. What do you want to do different? What don't you want to do with him? And that was such a gift. That was the greatest gift I've had ever.
So let me bounce off of that. I mean, do you feel like, your involvement with the entire Saints Row and Agents of Mayhem series at this point, do you feel like, that particular character is your character? You know how, like, certain voice actors, whenever they play a character, especially one that's popular for so long or so synonymous with a series, that it's all of a sudden it's their character. Did you feel like that when after Volition came to you and, kept coming back to you for each game?
At a certain point, yeah, man. Funny story, I actually auditioned for some other roles in, I think, Saints Row 3. Like, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought I did a good job on the other game. And they were like, oh no, it was other characters. And then they brought me back for Pierce. And then on Saints Row 4, same thing. I was like, wait a minute, I thought I was with the franchise. Okay, what's going on? But what I didn't realize, and this goes to the common thing that a lot of grown-ups always say, like, sometimes you get in your own way. I couldn't understand that they were offering me other stuff aside from what I was going to already have. It wasn't orated to me. No one said, hey, you got Pierce. Do you want to do this other stuff? So I was auditioning from a place of fear and nervousness. I was like, I don't want to not be in the game. What the hell?
I can understand that little kind of like, I guess you could say, anxiety of everything.
Yeah, it's like working at any job. You know what I'm saying? Like a regular desk job. It's like, hey, do you want to work on this? You're like, well, I thought I was working in marketing. Yeah, okay, I'll help with accounting. Oh my God, I'm gonna lose my job. No, we see something else in you. We wanted to see if you could do this too, not to replace you. But I also think that sometimes that's a what do you call it? That's a conversation that should be had, especially with an actor, because we, more than people could ever believe, we're gigging. We're a journeyman. We're very similar to the guys at Home Depot, but with a lot of talent in our field. Because some of those guys are very talented in tiling and plumbing, but they can't get a break. All actors are just trying to continue to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So let me ask you this then: with all the video game voice acting jobs that you've done, and again, we'll get into some of the other stuff in just a bit. Yeah. What was the most difficult thing for you, voicing characters in games, whether it was big AAA games or big franchises that were really put out there, or even smaller games / indie games that you probably might have contributed to?
Oh man, there's one game. What was that thing? I think if it's not ElfQuest. Then,
do you remember what platform it was on?
Hold on, I'm gonna go into my IMDb. It's one of my early ones. I think it was either EverQuest or ElfQuest, and I played a lot of characters, and I just wasn't prepared for all the screaming.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like one of my first kind of like big games, and I was like, oh, cool, man, this is super cool. I get to do this game, and I was literally in this guy's office in Hollywood, looking by Hollywood Boulevard and everything, but just I was screaming my ass off, dude.
Must have really did a number on your vocal cords.
Everquest 2, Desert of Flames. I think I was committed to 4 or 5 voices. And you're excited when you get the gig, but then you're like, oh my God, what's going on here? Great director, very kind, but I was being paid to do a job, and I needed to do the job, but it was just I didn't know how to pace myself. If it wasn't my first job, it was like one of my first 5 video games.
Yeah.
So like I was just so like, yeah, you know, whatever you need me to do, yeah. After voice 3, woo, guys got tea.
But let me ask you, did you ever have to deal with something like that afterwards with all the other games that you were part of after that? Like, did you ever like actively like avoid a scenario or a situation like that?
No, but I had one other time in my career where I went too far, and I had an engineer over at Technicolor at the time. They're Technicolor Burbank, but they're now called Formosa Burbank.
Yeah.
You know Formosa Interactive.
Mm-hmm.
The engineer came into the booth when we were working on Marlo Briggs and the Mask of Death. Number one, I was the title character, so I was, you know, basically pooping my pants every 5 seconds. I was like, "Oh my god, I got my own character!"
Nice.
And then I walk in and Steve Bloom is there, and it's like, "Oh, this is gonna be he'll be your sidekick." I'm like, "Steve Bloom is my sidekick?
That's your number 2? That's awesome.
I was like, "What? Oh hell yeah!" And I worked with Steve on a lot of games, but I had never met him. So I finally met him, and then I went in the booth and I was doing everything. And Marlo Briggs is a super dope like shooter, I guess like a platformer, but like a shooter,
like an action platformer.
And it's part of the you know, Xbox arcade thing, like, you know, just Xbox Live kind of game.
Yeah.
And it was available for PC too, and you know, it was by 505 Games, but they already had the game done. I've been very, very privileged that all the games that I've worked on thus far have been where they're still doing the art. They're still getting the script together. They're still putting pieces to it as we're working on it. So there's a time to let the character evolve, and even for them to say, you know what, that really wasn't the right way to do that take. Let's do it again.
There's a lot of breathing room.
Yeah, now that we got art. This thing was done, dude. So like we were done with the game in 2 days.
That's awesome.
It's very awesome, but it's a lot more pressure than anybody can think. So like you're screaming to get all your efforts, like So and now we need you to throw this. This axe is like 70 feet long. So imagine if you had to pick up a 70 foot. You're like, Rah! The guy comes in the room and he says, "Hey, bro, you're doing a great job. I want you to be able to work tomorrow. I want you to be able to work next week. Don't give him everything. Give him a lot, not everything." And from then on, I was like, "You're right."
That's crazy.
Because on this one game, I could have wrecked myself from like a month, 2 months of work. Like I brought it back after that. I was able to still keep up. And he gave me, you've seen me post the stuff about the Chinese honey.
Of course, yeah, you put it up on social media, I think, on Twitter and Instagram.
A lot, because it really is the greatest thing on earth, dude. And that's they call it Fred Tatasciore juice, because like he's the guy that does it. If people that don't know, that's the Hulk. All he does is scream. So like if he loves it, he loves it. And then there was another guy that gave me some advice online that I read, so that kept me safe. But yeah, Marlo Briggs and Elfquest are my hardest games to date that have harmed me and made me feel bad.
Interesting. So let me ask you this then before we switch gears. Was there ever a moment on any of the games that you worked on, either the ones we mentioned or the ones that we haven't yet, that you felt like you wanted to do more, or that you felt like you needed to do more, and that kind of like, you know, add more lines, not necessarily with screaming, but add more additional lines of dialogue for whatever reason, could either be good or bad?
Yeah, there's a lot of games, actually, where you want to just do a little something more. Oh, when I was done with my part on, you mentioned it earlier, on Grand Theft Auto, I was like, oh, so we're done? Oh.
Like, that's it?
Okay, so we're done. No, because you literally, and when I say, it was like walking, it was like going to E3 and you put every developer that you're a fan of in the same room, and you also have a new game that everybody's talking about. That's how it was at the vocal session. Keith David, Dave Fennoy, Jason George, Kevin Michael Richardson, Phil Lamar. It was just all these very famous actors from TV and voiceover in the hallway. and everybody's like, "Hey, brother, what's going on? Hey, man, what's going on? Hey, I ain't seen you in a minute. Hey, what's happening?"
It's like an all-star cast.
It's surreal. It's surreal, dude. And when I tell you, this place is like going like you're in Florida, so if you go to like a 2,500 to 3,000 square foot home,
yeah,
and you're in the family room, the main living room, like that size. How it's like it's a nice size. It's very big. It's good for barbecues. But for business, it's kind of nerve-wracking because then you go up the stairs to what would be the rooms to go record. So it's like you're seeing your heroes go up and you're seeing them come down, and then you're going up looking down at your heroes. You're like, this is crazy as hell.
That is surreal.
But then you're like, okay, so do this. Oh, you know what? Oh, pretty good. Hey, what do you think? Should we give them the thing? Okay, yeah, do this. Okay, something else? Oh, okay, hey, yeah, here. And you're like, okay, I'm on a roll. I've done 3 voices. Okay, that's it. What? Whoa. I didn't give you my other. I was going to give you this voice next. It's because you're thinking, because your agent tells you got up to 5 voices you can do for this rate. And they only chose 3. So I was like, oh, what did I do wrong?
You want that full 5.
Heck yeah. And then there was a Skylanders game that I was like, I could have did more, but they had to let me go because I sounded too much like, say, a Pierce Washington for their game. It's a character that's been in the game for so long, and I was too close to their tonality, and I respected that. I was like, well, I'm happy no one's ever brought in somebody that sounded like me, so you can't get mad.
That's
you
true.
know what I mean?
That's true. You don't want to no. I guess you could say that's a respect thing, or kind of like a courtesy.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah, and it was a hard pill to swallow because I was like, my kids are going to be pumped.
Oh, man. So, real quickly, you mentioned before that there were some roles that you wanted to audition for that you didn't get that you really wanted at one point. Can you quickly mention any of them?
Oh, yeah. I auditioned for Final Fantasy, was it 14? Is that
15. 15, I believe.
Yeah, 15 to be part of the main character's crew. So I auditioned for that. I auditioned for Destiny, the original one. Didn't get that. I auditioned for Titanfall. Didn't get that, but I love that game. That game is cool. The original one. I really love it. What else did I audition for that I didn't get? Okay. It's a double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword.
I auditioned for the role in Battlefield Hardline that Eugene Bird from 8 Mile and Bones fame got. But I still ended up being in the game.
Yeah.
So it's all good, and I'm happy for him. It was his first game before Gears of War 4. So I was hella happy for him that he got to experience that and then has gone on to do even doper and doper and doper and doper games. But I was kind of heartbroken because when all the promo footage came out, it was like, oh my God, it's only those 3. It literally was 4 people. It was Kelly Wu, Travis Willingham, Nick Gonzalez, and Eugene. I'm like, no! and they face captured them. Then it made it hurt even more. It was like, ah!
Like the sting, the salt right there.
But I was like, at least it's one of my homies. And that's kind of how, in this hustle, you have to treat it. You got to be happy for your crew. You got to be happy when they make it.
Yeah.
Because if not, then it sucks. You're going to walk around bitter every day.
Yeah, you can't hate. Everybody got to go together.
You got to jump for joy because it's like, hey, like I said, we're all in this just trying to stay working.
Exactly. And also think of it this way, when that same moment happens to you at some point like that, you want them to feel the same way.
Exactly.
So
you want to get up there too.
Yeah, definitely. So let's switch gears. Let's talk a little bit about some film, some TV stuff, because you were in a lot of TV shows, a lot of cartoons, a lot of animated stuff, but you also did some film work on some movies and some TV shows, which I didn't know. I took a double take on a couple of the stuff that I was reading about, but to run through a few of them, and again, this isn't everything that you've done, but because there's a lot, too much, like to scroll down, okay, which is a good problem to have, by the way. You're doing right now, okay, at least you did not too long ago, Transformers, Robots in Disguise. You played Jazz, which I think is pretty cool. You were also on Star versus the Forces of Evil as Princess Smoshi. You were also in Justice League Gods and Monsters. Beware the Batman, Happy Feet. You contribute some voices to Happy Feet. Mad TV, the cartoon, the cartoon sections of Mad TV. Symbiotic Titan. Celebrity Deathmatch, which you did a voice for Little John? I didn't know that. Like,
yeah,
that just came out of I was like, what? Like, and then I had to go watch the clip. I was like, wow, that was actually pretty good. So besides that, though, okay, which I'll mention a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit about it later, okay? But I also want to mention that some of the film stuff that what you did, okay? You have a podcast called Apollo Night LA, which you're a co-host on, with a couple of other people on there. You were on Method and Red, which I didn't know. Yeah. You were on a show called Sparks for about 40 episodes. I was like, damn, that's pretty crazy. On Saved by the Bell, The New Class, and also The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which originally it had it listed that you were uncredited on, but you appeared as a student in one of the episodes, which I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. That's pretty freaking cool. So you've done a lot, bottom line. But I want to know, moving that transition from doing acting stuff, traditional film stuff, and then moving into voice acting. Was there any kind of certain things that you took with you back in those early days when you were just acting and brought with you into voice acting?
I think the youthful exuberance that I coined the phrase, the idiocy of being young and being an actor. You're just so brave. That it's borderline idiotic, dude, because you just run face forward at the glass because you just want to break the ceiling. You just run at the glass and you just want to get in the hustle. Whatever it takes, bro. You want me here in a G-string? Whatever, fool. I got it. I'll wear some Timberlands in a G-string. Whatever.
For the record, I saw you play a clown in one of these episodes. I was looking at your demo reel and I saw you were in a clown makeup and stuff like that. I don't remember which show it was from, but all of a sudden it was like,
Method in Red.
Method in Red is like, okay, you pulled out a grenade or like a smoke bomb. He's like, oh, it's the 5-0. He's like, what is it? Cloudy's out, bitches. And I just started cracking up because it was so random.
You know what? And that show was so freaking random. I have a clown wig, and I think we've lost it, or either my wife threw it away, but I got it for a party. A super afro wig for a party one time, because I'm not really into Halloween, but I just wanted to have something a little festive just to be trip it up.
Yeah.
And I literally wore it to the audition. And when I walked in, everybody that I knew, same kind of thing like with with Grand Theft Auto, like there was a lot of cool celebrities in the room. Like you would know who all these people were in the room because you've seen them on TV. And everybody started laughing to the point where someone came out of the office and said, guys, you got to keep it down. They were like, dude, F it. It's his role. It is. All day.
That's cool.
They were like, you went the extra mile, fool. And they were like, what the hell? You're wearing the wig. And then when I came out, they were like people just started clapping. They were like, dude, you're ignorant as hell. It's on and cracking. Because I was doing a lot of improv around the time for Meth and Red. I was doing stuff at the Comedy Store. And so, the whole principle with improv is not to deny. If you don't take the shot, there's no way to know if you can hit the target.
True.
So you got to take the shot. So it's like the rule is go as far as you can so they can tell you need to calm down. Now, nowadays, with the quote-unquote millennial scenarios that are in the casting room, sometimes going too far is like, oh, this guy is a buffoon. It's like, no, I'm giving you everything so you can take off what you don't like.
That's cool.
I'm just trying, you know what I'm saying? So it was super fun. That was dope as heck.
That is awesome.
Downtown Clowny Brown.
Downtown Clowny Brown, man. I tell you, I couldn't stop laughing when I started. It just caught me by surprise. But let me ask you this about cartoons, because again, you've done a lot of cartoon work, a lot of voice acting work with that. Mm-hmm. What is the one thing that you enjoy about it? Because you've done so much, and for a lot of cool series that are on like places like Disney XD, Cartoon Network, and the list goes on.
There's three things. One is the ability for my kids to see some of my work without the fear of it being a lot of cursing and everything like that. Because, video games, they're real. Video games are real.
True.
So all the stuff that we do and how we talk comes across in the video games. Sometimes it's heightened. My daughter's 12 and my son is 9. When I cuss in front of them, it's usually from a place of, you've messed up and you got to get your act together because you're better than this. It's not a thing of like, oh, we just cuss around the house for the sake of cussing. That's how I was raised. I was raised in the 70s and 80s, so there was a lot of cussing. I didn't want that for my kids. So animation makes it where it's a safe environment for them to watch stuff and hopefully to be inspired by it from the craft and hearing the voices and being able to be like, oh, this is super cool. The other part is being able to work with Andrea Romano and Jamie Simone, the two of the greatest animation directors that I've ever met. ever. And Douglas Kerrigan. However, a lot of people know him mainly for his video game and interactive work. Douglas Kerrigan is the first acting class for animation and voice that I ever took. First and only class. And I've worked with him on numerous projects. I call it the best $800 I've ever spent in my life.
There you go. That's pretty good.
Seriously, the very best. And then lastly, being able to play jazz, it don't get no better.
You're a transformer.
Yeah, I'm a transformer. I am a G1 generation guy. I'm a literal
that's what I'm talking about.
G.I. Joe and Robotech. Those were my after school cartoons. So it's like, to be on any of those would be great. But to play an iconic character, not a sidebar or a new character, to play jazz, Scatman Crothers, who was responsible for so many animated hits, it was a very big deal. And I was very surprised by the take that they chose. They wanted my more common talking voice than anything super extra. And I was just like, whoa, this is mind-blowing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, it's a great thrill to be part of the Robots in Disguise universe, very, very much.
So let me ask you this. Is it surreal, because, again, that's an iconic character, such a big character in that show. Is it surreal seeing toys, like you go into a toy store with your kids or going out, to the mall with the kids and seeing, like, merchandise with the character that you played like that, especially with such a big character?
It's surreal and frustrating.
Why is it frustrating?
When you go to the store and it's not there, you're like, hey, man, hey, who's taking care of the show? Jazz is out, right? Oh, well, we're not familiar with Jazz. You're not familiar with Jazz.
Yeah, that's funny.
Excuse me. Maybe you should check your website. Y'all should have all the characters. Well, do you need it? I mean, we can order it online. No, I just want to make sure that it's here. Well, do you have any activity with the company? No, I don't. I have no attachment. I'm saying, as a consumer,
you're just saying
you should have it. You should have, because what kind of jerk do I now seem once the conversation goes to, I play him, why don't you have him?
I would have did it. I would have been like, you know what, just let him know.
I wanted to, but it was my target, and I was like, I'm going to be the jerk of the target, like, hey guys, there goes Jazz. Asshole. He's like, no.
Oh my God. But let me ask you this then, because obviously there's a lot of conventions all throughout the United States and stuff for a variety of different shows. And again, Transformers being one of those shows that, again, gets featured in a variety of different places. What's it like going to different events, after playing these characters and seeing the reactions from fans?
Oh, it's freaking dope. It's very good to shake hands with people. It's good to sign autographs, but the conversations and the for lack of a word, the intellect of people regarding the expertise, that's what it is. The expertise of people within the genealogy of any of these characters is phenomenal. And cosplay is always dope. I don't get to travel to all the cons that I want to because I haven't been invited, but the ones that I do on the West Coast, they're phenomenal. And the fans for Saints Row, for Transformers, and anything, they go hard. They really mean it. They really are part of this culture, because I think a lot of us have the pride of being, we love these things. We're not in the shadows hidden behind a corporate job anymore.
You got a passion for it.
Yeah, your boss, your hardcore evil boss on Saturday is Thor. In full garb, rocking around with Mjolnir. Like, there's all these people that really are into this culture now. No one's stuffy about it. It's not weird. You're not hiding in a comic book store, hiding away from humanity. It's like, you're out there and you can talk about astrophysics and you can talk about the Micronauts. We can talk about Star Wars and we can talk about politics. Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
that's the house phone. Sorry, it's real life.
Real life's call. It's be like, yo, we hear you talking smack about jazz. What's up?
Exactly. They're coming to get me.
But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's really cool. And meeting kids at cons is what everything's about. That's what everything's about.
Really?
Yeah, because kids, they're honest. They're not faking the funk. They're not playing you. They are really, really in to what you're doing. They're like, oh my God. And they like, when you see their eyes kind of well up sometimes, it's cool. It's really cool.
That's very cool. So let me ask you this then: was there any parts that you've been kind of like gunning for, or at least types of parts for either big series or like a certain type of show or character that you've been looking for that you just haven't gotten yet?
Yes, I auditioned so much for Justice League Unlimited.
Oh.
You remember the thing Dove? It was like something in Dove.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
a
like
Hawk and Dove. Hawk and Dove.
yeah. The war episode. I auditioned for that. I auditioned for I think what was it? I think it was like Animal Man or Wild Man.
Wildcat. Wildcat.
No, not Wildcat. That they used to train Black Canary, but it was literally a character that was like he was a wild man. Like he could communicate with animals, but he was
I know
more.
what you're talking about. Okay.
He was kind of prehistoric-y.
Yeah.
But like I went in for that, and there was a lot of other roles. There was a role that I literally looked at one Saturday or one Friday evening I was watching, and it was like Ice-T got it, and I was like, okay, I can't front on that. He's a legend. But that's, I don't know. So you wanted me to go this way. Why did you go that way? You know, whatever. So you do that. You're happy. You're excited. Whatever. And then you end up going in for other things. Like what are some of the other cartoons? Oh, Family Guy. I booked stuff. I worked on Family Guy, but then there was other stuff that's come down the line. We Bare Bears.
Yeah.
Dude, I've auditioned for We Bare Bears like 10 times, bro.
Oh, wow.
Like 10 times. And Sophia of Avalor.
Mm-hmm. These are the Cartoon Network shows, correct?
Yeah. No, and Disney.
And
like,
Disney,
yeah. It's Sophia of Eleanor or something like that. Elena of Avalor, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a new cool little princess that's on there. And, and I think I auditioned for Doc McStuffins, bro.
Wow.
Never got anything, bro. But the rule of thumb in entertainment is if your phone's not ringing, there's a problem. So if they're still bringing me in, there's no hate. They just haven't found a space for me yet.
True.
You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. So it's frustrating because once again, my kids are 9 and 12, so I do watch animation. And so when I hear somebody, I'm like I said, I'm usually happy, but there's times where you're like, okay, then what was your choice? What were you? was this a contractual obligation? Were we charging too much? Did you just not care?
Those confusing moments.
Yeah, you're just sitting there like, what the heck is the choice? But I don't have that job, so I don't know what that choice was about.
True. I mean, like you said, it could be any number of reasons, but that's a good perspective to have, especially when you don't get parts or it happens consecutively like that. I want to know, though, because I'm curious, because a lot of the stuff that what you've done has been a lot of Western animation. Have you ever considered at least going towards like any of the Japanese animes, like going to Funimation or going to Manga or Aniplex or any of these other companies that do dubs for imported Japanese anime?
Yes. But here goes the thing. The whole Funimation and Zoom Studios, Bang Zoom Studio thing. Because remember, I just got finished doing Resident Evil.
That's right.
Vendetta, which was phenomenal. It was phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal to work on.
That's cool.
But, there's the other side. I think with union and non-union, and those that are listening right now, okay, so I'm a union actor. I am I paid my dues and entered into the membership of the union of SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah, SAG-AFTRA, which I think you told me about one time.
Yeah. When the strike and stuff was going on. But we have rules and regulations that we live by, which are, you work for union houses so that in the event, if you haven't been paid, they can make a phone call and get your money for you. In the event, if someone has pirated the production and they're selling it overseas, you now have a staff attorney or a fleet of attorneys that can fight on your behalf should the people that made the movie not care anymore. Because sometimes, it's a dirty game out here. People will make a movie and slang it off to somebody for what they made it for.
That's true.
They'll get rid of it for $100,000, so they have nothing to do with it anymore. But this new person may be doing all kind of unscrupulous things with the movie. So you want to have a union to watch your back, but there's a lot of non-union work. And the non-union work is dope. Don't get me twisted. Dragon Ball Z initially, if I'm not mistaken, was all non-union. I think it's
I didn't know
now.
That.
Yeah, man. All those seasons when it first, basically all of the stuff that was Adult Swim was non-union.
Wow. That's crazy.
Basically everything on there. Of course, Powerpuff Girls and stuff, that was before Adult Swim. But all the stuff that was, Cowboy Bebop and all that type of stuff,
yeah,
I believe all of that was non-union work. So it's like I couldn't do it. Even if I wanted to be a cowboy, it's too much of a risk to do it and then someone find out that it's you and then you have to go back and forth. Of course, I stand, and I've said it publicly, I know for a fact most people at one time or another have done something non-union because we all got to feed ourselves. But once you get into a practice of being able to work more commonly and more steady, you don't want to risk it. You don't want to take the chance because none of us know what the fee is.
That's
it's something like $5 or $10,000 if you go against the union for something that you could have made like $5,000 off of.
That's
or you
not
could have
good.
made $500. It's not good at all. It's not good at all. And at this point in the game, it's like, people are trying to eat and trying to have medical. Just hire union talent. Encourage people because you get a better response. People come in happier in any workplace. If I know it's safe of an environment, I'm going to give you everything I got because I know you got me if I get hurt.
Let me ask you this then. Are there like non-union gigs that are like done with Japanese animation studios? Maybe not so much Funimation or the ones that you mentioned, but like different shows that are coming over that you're able to do unionized work like that and at least be able to contribute a voice or have those opportunities?
When they convert them, I think now a lot of the stuff that's Western that's converted is union. There's still a nice lion's share of stuff that isn't. There's a nice lion's share of video games that are dope. And it's like, I'm not going to put them on blast, but they're super dope games, but they're like, nah, dude, nah. And I mean, they pay the price. So let's a roundabout number. This isn't anybody's rate, but let's say if they give you $500 to go to work and you're working for the union, you got to put in money to pay into your pension and for your insurance and stuff like that. It's just like owning a business. You have to pay property tax, state taxes, federal taxes, whatever, to be able to function your business in that area, right? But for non-union, they'll just give you $1,500.
That's it?
And walk away.
And just that's it? There's nothing else?
No, I'm saying like for that day or for those other 2 days. So they don't want to deal with the pay. So they're almost paying triple what you would make to avoid all the paperwork, to avoid having to talk to anybody, to avoid having to deal with somebody. And a lot of people say $1,500 is a great amount for 1 day of work. But it's the long run. Once again, I mentioned your vocal cords. So if you scream because this person paid you $1,500, you don't want to mess that up either. Because you're like, oh, this is $1,500. So you give them everything, and then I call you the next day to do a job on Family Guy, but your voice is thrown.
Yeah, and then there's nothing that can be done about that. That really kind of sucks when you think about it. Like thinking long term, thinking ahead, like that sounds like it'd be really bad. Yeah,
because it's better to make $300, $500, or make 3 $500 days than to make one $1,500 day that could take you out for a month.
Interesting. So let's switch gears before we wrap everything up. Whoops, I broke something.
Did you fall?
No, something fell like next to me. That's gonna be
the Koalition.
I'm gonna leave that in there.
Now goes on break.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna leave that in there because that was funny. But tell me a little bit about Apollo Night LA. Okay, again, you co-host that show, that podcast, that show that you have on YouTube now that people could look it up. Tell me a little bit about it because I've never seen this before.
Man, the Apollo Night LA is super phenomenal. It was initially put together by Karen Sims and Lunel. Lunel, the comedian from Borat, and from the Cat Pimpology Chronicles, Pimp Chronicle tour and all that stuff. She's phenomenal. She was the oldest woman, like the most beautiful, voluptuous woman to be in Penthouse or whatever like that. First black comedian to be in Penthouse. I think that's what it was. But she's an elder statesman, but she's still freaky deaky and gorgeous and all that. So they started it off, and then Jocko Sims got involved, who is Karen Sims' son. Obviously, they're both from San Antonio, Texas. But the thing that's dope about Jocko is on the show The Last Ship, and he was one of the actors on Masters of Sex on Showtime.
Yeah.
And so since then, he's gone on to do everything, like the brand new Jim Carrey comedy series that was on Showtime. He was on there. He has a brand new show coming out, I think, on Fox and some other stuff. And he's still about to wrap up the next and final season of The Last Ship. So he's on there. Then when you had different people like Ross Washington, who's a phenomenal comedian, and then Screwface Radio, who's a great artist, and him and Jocko had a group that was really dope called Some A-Holes, but they used the real word. Yeah. And then you came in with us. So me and Guy Tori came in last. So it ended up being myself, Jocko, Karen, and then we added Don Day. And Don Day is a phenomenal, activist and great disc jockey from New York, trained at WBLS, and then we ended up getting a great producer named Isabel. And we have a great show. We've been on hiatus for a couple of months. We're trying to put some different things together and reimagine the brand and get some sponsorship opportunities and things like that. But we basically have a picture of like a rum lemonade, and we play music that we've never, ever heard until the moment that it's on air with you, the audience, and we give our opinions about it.
That's pretty cool.
So it's a showcase that, is immediate. It's live. Yeah, it's live reactions, truthful, 5 different people, not from the same brain, you know what I'm saying? And then people can call in from everywhere, from Jamaica, from around the world, from Europe. They can Skype in via phone or whatever. They can do everything, and it's been a great fun thing. We've had In Vogue on. We've had porn stars on. We've had Roseanne Barr, dude.
That's crazy.
Roseanne Barr, dude. I mean, what?
That's random but crazy, but that's good. I mean, that sounds pretty cool.
I used to do extra work on the Burbank CBS Radford lot and walk by her soundstage and be like, one day, dude, one day I'm going to get to be cool with this chick. And I'm sitting there having a drink and talking and eating food and listening to music.
That's fun. That's really cool.
It was crazy. It was crazy. And to have Guy Tori, Roseanne, and then freaking Lunel saw it on Instagram and dipped from LAX as quick as she could and came in the last 10 minutes of the show.
That's pretty cool.
It was a dope. It was those 3 heavyweight. They can sell out arenas, dude.
Hey, that's awesome.
It was dope to have that and to have music. And Karen can cook her ass off. She can cook her butt off, dude. She's phenomenal. So anytime she cooks, it's a great day. Yeah. Well, she knows her music, but whenever she cooks.
But those are like really awesome moments to have something like that, especially if it's live and that everybody's in on it and enjoying themselves. Has there ever been moments where you guys just ripped a piece of music, a new one, like it was like that bad? And I was like, yo, I can't be down with this.
Dude, I ripped some music and they called in and they're really responsible for me going to the gym and losing weight. Cause they were like, they said, I know Fat Boy ain't talking. And we were like, who's Fat Boy? It was like, you. Fool, you know you fat.
Oh man!
They were like, you said like you're 2 dozen away from diabetes. I was like, oh my god! So I had to go to the gym. I literally started going to the gym. I was like, I'm so embarrassed,
so self-conscious. Oh man!
Yeah, like the dude, like he totally like body shamed me, but it was for the good because I did need to lose some weight, so it's all good. I needed to work out,
so it worked out in the end.
Yeah, it was perfect.
That's crazy. So. Here's a good way to wrap everything up. And like what we do all the time on this show, okay, I want to know exactly one thing that you could tell everybody that you feel like you could give to everybody listening to this episode that they could walk away with, something positive, something good, or something insightful, good food for thought for them when they walk away from after listening to this episode.
One good thing, work hard so that your dreams are able to be accomplished.
There you go. Simple, straight to the point.
I think that's it. Just you work hard, just keep grinding, and eventually you'll get where you're supposed to get. You know what I'm saying? Just don't lose focus. Just keep on moving forward.
I agree. Definitely. And again, you never know. You might be able to have drinks with someone that's like pretty crazy that you walk by their lot.
You too may be able to drink a Roseanne Barr, dog.
Right? Like, seriously. No, I think that's some good sound advice. And we hear similar stuff here on the show every once in a while, depending on each person that comes on and stuff. But I think it's all the general consensus, like obviously having a good work ethic, having a good mindset, a good perspective, and having a good drive towards things that you want to accomplish. And you've done that clearly. Obviously, coming from acting, moving on to voice acting from there, being part of some very big projects.
It's been a pleasurable ride. It's scary at times, but it's been a pleasurable ride.
What do you feel like is the next step for you? What, like the next big step that you want to go for?
Well, a mutual friend of ours, Antoine Perriman, and we have a TV show that we've been pitching around Hollywood. And, the cat's out of the bag. It's been out the bag for a while, but the show is called Arif. And it's my life, dude. It's really, there's a lot of crazy fun stuff. Even the way you and I met.
Yeah.
It's just some buck wild, crazy, random, but cool stuff that happens in my life in a day-to-day. And I think people will really get a chance to laugh at the stuff and have fun. It's like Dick Van Dyke and the Larry David Show right now.
Interesting. That'd be cool if you get it on TV. They'd be able to watch it prime
time. I
hope
so.
That'd be awesome.
I hope so, man. I really do, bro. Cause I have some very talented friends that I think America already loves, and they'd be very intrigued to know that those are like actually phone call friends.
That's pretty crazy, man.
And great scenarios, because even though we're actors, or you're an amazing writer and multimedia talent for various venues, everybody's life basically is the same. We all got to pay rent or a mortgage, and we all got to go to the DWPSA. So how can I piece this out? I don't want to pay you everything right now. How can I give you a little bit?
Exactly. It's crazy.
And we're all in the store late at night looking for something random like, do you guys have vinegar? I can't explain why, but I need some vinegar. I need rice vinegar. Do you have that? So it's like everybody has a weird, quirky, crazy thing that's happened that is so normal, but it's weird. It is weird, but it's normal. It's normal weird. And I think that unites us all. And if you can see it with a little bit of humor added to it, it'll change your life. We've been very blessed to have some talented people work with us as we were doing pitch stuff. And they're titans of the industry. So that's what's up next. That show called Arif is what's next. And State of Decay, too.
Yep, 2018. It's going to right around the corner practically now, so that's going to be cool. It's going to be interesting.
I think the fans are going to love it, and I think fans of survival games that have never played it will be able to jump in and still like it. Those guys at Undead Lab are very nice. The head writer, Andy, he's a giver. And I guess that's the best way of saying it. He's a giver. And my director is a freaking legend in anime, Patrick Seitz. So Patrick Seitz is my director on this. So it's been very, very fun to be able to work with a friend and have him direct you. It's been very good.
That's cool. It sounds like a lot of exciting stuff that's happening. A lot of good stuff to look forward to. But Arif, thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it, as always. Where can everybody find you now? You're on Twitter, you're on Instagram. Where can everybody hit you up?
They can find me at Home Depot. I'll be holding the microphone.
Hang out at Home Depot randomly.
I'm going to get so much flack for that, but it's the truth, man. That's the best visual. They can find me at Arif S. Kinchen. So ARIF, S as in Sam, KINCHEN, and I'm quite sure you'll have it in the links. That's me everywhere, dude. I tried to make it easy. I don't want to have crazy stuff.
Definitely.
I just wanted to have a name.
Was it Twitter, Instagram, and then obviously Apollo Night LA? It's on YouTube.
Yes.
It's all over the place. So definitely.
And they can go to YouTube to find everything on me too.
Exactly. So there'll be links to the description box, guys, for you guys to check that out. And then again, if you're listening to this on iTunes, it'll be on the website as well. So you guys can check out all the stuff there that Arif has done. Check out all his IMDb stuff. Check out some of the shows. Check out your demo reel that's on your IMDb as well.
Yes.
Whole bunch of good stuff to look forward to. But again, thank you, Arif, for being on this episode with me. It was very fun. Always a pleasure. Hope I get to see you again soon. Hopefully, if I don't get to see you,
I hope so too.
If I don't get to see you at PSX, I want to see you at E3 again.
I want to see you on Xbox. I want to see you on PlayStation. I want to start gaming. So there's some other stuff that'll be coming on, but I don't know what I can talk about. So as soon as that goes, then we're going to be making phone calls to you too.
Nice. That's going to be dope. Just call me anytime. Just be like, hey, what's up? What you doing? Oh, something random. But
exactly.
But thank you, Arif. Okay, thank you guys for listening to this episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the Koalition's YouTube channel for all our videos based on TK Spotlight, our unboxing videos, our reviews, our other podcasts. And also, don't forget, we are on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review the show on iTunes. Help get it out there even more. And post suggestions of other guests that you guys want me to bring on the show. Let me know what's on your guys' minds and how I could better improve the show for everybody out there. But either way, thank you for listening to this episode. We will talk to you again very soon. Peace out and stay epic, everybody.